Welcome back to another episode of This Takes the Cake. I'm Jacque in our Palm Beach office, and we're here with Carla from Unearthed Rentals today. Tell me a little bit about you, game changer for weddings and events. We use you guys a lot, and what I like about you guys is you have a different style than typical rental companies. We have other rental companies, obviously we have, but I remember this one wedding we did, and Jade, the owner, was essentially, I said, hey, do you have anything like this? And it was the stage facade that we use in our Myrtle Beach office a lot. It was a white built-in. She's like, I'll build it. Yep. We got this. I'll build it. And I was like, wait, what? You'll build it for me? And you guys get a lot of use out of it because nobody has anything like that.
We use it all the time.
You better build more. Yeah. Maybe different colors.
Oh yeah. We have white, we have black, we've got the cane panels for it now.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about Unearthed Rentals, your unique curated pieces and things you guys got going on.
So yeah, but kind of like you said, like we have the ability to build and create. So kind of the sky is the limit. This summer we focused a lot on building a bunch of new statement bars. So
I saw those.
Those are going to be really
because you guys
exciting.
have like a different style. You can really fit any style. I know we used your rentals for our holiday party in December and things like that. And you come up with, I was like, this is my vibe, and you just kind of sent me, this will look good. Here, do this.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was like really, I wanted kind of like a pop of like grand opening, but not too holiday-ish.
Yep.
But you guys have like, I want to say somewhat of a boho style too.
So starting to kind of get away a little bit from the boho style. So when Unearthed was like first originated, it was more of like a vintage feel. And now as the years have gone on and our inventory has expanded, kind of shifting a little bit more towards that modern style and those classic pieces that can kind of just be used throughout the years. And then mixing it in with some of like, the pieces that have been in our inventory. Exactly.
Because you guys have really, I remember you did one of our weddings and you had such unique chairs, and she wanted benches and things that I really hadn't had to kind of accumulate for a wedding, because everybody kind of, I don't want to say does the same thing, but it's pretty standard what chairs people use for ceremony and cocktail and things like that. But she kind of wanted benches and things that you were like, yeah, I got that. And then she wanted a mix of chairs.
Yep.
Do you remember that one? So we did all these mixed chairs in the back and things like that. So it was I always like your stuff because you have super unique pieces, but also like you said, you're getting new stuff.
Yeah. So we have everything essentially that you need. All the basic chairs, right? And then we've got all the curated chairs. So the Bentwoods, the Wishbones, the Louis, but then we also have all the Chiavarris and the Ghost, like the classics that, everybody kind of has used for years. And then the benches, and we even have done like sofas and couches and love seats.
Oh, for ceremony?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a wedding I'd want to go to. That's
like
comfortable.
People will mix. And so like you could do like a row or two of couches, like of sofas, and then a couple like wishbone chairs behind that, like smaller guest count, you know what I mean? And you have to have obviously a decent amount of space. But it really like totally changes the dynamic.
I love that. And then you have a whole array of linens and stuff. So what do you find like one of your biggest challenges? Because I mean here, and I will say in South Florida, like we don't have many venues. I know you guys have rentals with venues and things like that, and you're on specific like what they need every weekend for their events, but we don't do a ton of rentals because a lot of our venues include everything. Whereas like our Myrtle Beach or our Aspen and Atlanta, Savannah offices, everything's tented, everything's brought in and rented. I did a Myrtle Beach wedding years ago, and it was like, here's the land for so much money, and then here's $40,000-$50,000 in rentals. And they have a lot of, which is fun because it's fun, and it's also like, wait, what? When we go up to Myrtle Beach and her layouts are totally different because they're not to scale. It's a huge space. They have to do subflooring in for the dance floor. They have to do a tented wedding with the poles in the center of the dance floor. And I'm just like, I feel bad because I'd be like, wait, what? You have to do what? Like, Carla, come save me.
Right. So we do tenting as well.
Do you do all the tents? Like, what do you have?
Clear span and like just white frame tents, so not Sperry.
Okay.
But just all the other like structures.
And the sail tents and things like that? None of those? Okay.
No.
Nice.
I always say
She'll
just
get
like,
them. No.
Yeah, one day Jade will build it.
If you want it, Jade will build it.
Right. But yeah, we've had to deal with too, so that sometimes if they don't get the tent from us and there is a pole in the center and they've sent us a floor plan and there is no pole in the floor plan, and then we go to set up the dance floor and we're like, okay, well, pole's going on the dance floor now. So figure it out.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And so we do figure it out. So do you have the dance floor pieces?
We do, yeah.
With the holes in them?
Yep, all the dance floors are 3x3 sections, and then obviously like we can create around any type of pole that if we need to.
Okay.
But yeah.
But you do dance floors. You do black and white. I know we've rented black and white from you.
Yep.
Are you doing the new what is it like?
Maple and white.
Yes, the maple and white. Yes. I was going to go with khaki, but we'll say maple.
Maple and white. So currently booked out.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It will be used pretty much every single weekend.
It's a whole different vibe
this
with that
season.
One.
It's especially in venues where people are using like lighter tone chairs or just like more neutral colored linens. It just cohesively ties it all in. It's not as harsh as like the black and white if you were going for that. But yeah, we've got it. I think we actually just had to buy more pieces because the weekend of November 15th, we've had it sold in 4 different places.
So what's the biggest you can do as far as dance floor size in 3 pieces? Like what's the largest dance floor you can make?
So pending which dance floor you go with, I mean, we could go anywhere up to like 30 by 30 currently, but it's huge, you know? But if it was like a corporate function where you're 500 people or more, like we could obviously just get more pieces and continue to build it.
So, and I know you started out with Unearthed. It's been a while now, right?
No, a year.
It's been a year?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so exciting. Happy birthday.
Almost literally almost to the day a year.
And we met a million years ago when I first came down, or not came down, I was always here, but when I first started down here, we met and you were at another rental company and we kind of popped in and said hi and we were going through some stuff. And it was funny because Sarah was with me from Myrtle Beach and she was like, oh my God, this place has so many linens because you guys have so many more options than they have up there in Myrtle Beach. And they do a lot of Stradley Davidson and BBJ and they have to do a lot of orders for specialty linens where you guys have a lot of that stuff on hand and in stock.
We purchased a ton of linens this last season. So everything from like your basic like expos and dupionis and all of that up to like some specialty prints that we have now. So it's been really fun growing our linen inventory. I would say we are consistently growing our linen and napkin inventory.
Well, new stuff comes out constantly.
It constantly comes out and like no bride is really the same. So some want fun patterns for their cocktail table linens and we're happy to bring them in because it just continues to grow.
Do you find, and like, I'm just being nosy right now. I have nothing on this list that I'm talking about, but do you find, like, I find it hard when couples or brides send me, you know, inspiration and colors and styles and specialty linens and all these things. And I'm like, this is a styled shoot in like some other part of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like kind of bringing
the love-hate relationship with it. Yeah. So, you know, you're looking at one table and they're like, oh, my, you know, rental budget is $5,000, let's say. And you're like, well, that one table that you're looking at is probably upwards of $750 between the linen, all the glassware, the flatware, the china, everything, you know? So I have a love-hate with the styled shoots, like as inspiration, but it then does give us the creativity to like make it their own, which to me, I love a good challenge, you know? So I will end up finding you something that you love better and make it your own. Like I had a bride in last week who saw a wedding at Pelican Club, fell in love with it, loved everything, and thought she was going to come in and essentially like copy paste it. And by the time she left, she was like, I'm so happy we made it mine, you know, and that my photos will now look differently, but still the same overall vision of like what she wanted.
And I love, you know, I have brides say, oh, well, show me your vision and let me see if it matches mine. It's like, I could tell you 400 weddings. None of them are mine. My wedding wasn't mine now.
I know.
You know, and it's one of those things. I had a bride who did, it was a wedding and she did all different linens on all different tables. She did like, it was, I think it was the Bridgerton, and she did the pink and green and then the blue and green and then the pink and green. And I'm going, and I had the tables on the layout pink or blue or green, so everybody knew where to drop those linens and what she envisioned. And I'm looking at it going, God, this has got to look intentional. We don't want it to look like the Easter Bunny puked, you know, in this ballroom. And she actually even had her dance floor wrapped to match one of the Bridgerton. It was blue and white floral dance floor. It was so cool. And I walked in there, I was like, oh my God, that's part of like my love is like seeing it on paper and then seeing it come to life is
absolutely.
like, wow, that was really, really cool. So I kind of like when I'm loving that people are stepping out of the box now.
Absolutely.
You got to go crazy over that. That's like your playground.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives us a chance to use more of our inventory. When you have somebody coming in that sees something you did in the past, as much as it's a compliment to want to recreate that, it's kind of like, but let's use other things and showcase other items, you know? So, and I lean so heavily on our planners to like give us the galleries at the end. And when everything starts to look monotonous, you're like, all right, how many times are we posting this same charger plate or this same linen and sharing it, you know? So when somebody comes in and selects something different, we are all for it.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that people are stepping out of the box. I mean, we've done whites and greeneries, and it's like, okay, great.
I know.
I have one coming up, and they're doing the like really, really pretty, like almost like a black and whites and greeners, but then she wants to mix in some butter yellows, and I'm just like, yes, let's go.
Throw some
like
in.
Nothing says spring like, you know, the yellows and the pales, and I love when they don't match the bridesmaid dresses and do different textures and style.
Like,
and
let's get away from holding your bridesmaid dress swatch next to your tablecloth. Let's shift.
Yes, exactly. And I always tell couples when they're wanting to upgrade, like, you know, a lot of our venues include stuff, but, you know, we don't have to break the bank by upgrading every table to a velvet linen, but maybe let's do the cake table or the sweetheart table or a king's table or something.
Absolutely. I've been telling people too that like you could upgrade and do like if they give you like clear Chiavari chair or something like that, get a new fun cushion.
Yeah.
Like bring in a colored cushion, bring in a napkin, bring in a charger plate. Like
anything.
We just brought in a bunch of colored glassware. I'm like, throw a colored water glass on the table. Like not super cost prohibitive, you know, and it just changes the look a little bit.
And it's like people, you know, people will notice when you put in that effort to make it look intentional. It's in all of your detail shots. And let's be real, the detail shots are going in the album and on your walls of your house. They're not, you only need so many dancing photos of things. Now, I tell people, because if they're working with a super strict budget and they're like, well, I want to add stuff, I always tell them pick the rentals that, you know, that are going to stay on the table the longest. So you can always request your chargers stay on the table the whole time. Yeah. Water goblets. Chargers can be pricey. Chairs can be pricing depending. And then also like your napkins, like that's staying there the whole time. So water goblet napkin, just a little bit of pop of blue or pink or whatever it may be, really adds the dimension to that white linen.
And to counter, you know, act what you're saying about staying on the longevity of it on the table. Like you also have to think about the first impression of the guest, right? And like what they see when they first walk in the ballroom, because I feel like when they see something when they first walk in the ballroom, like that's going to stick in their brain to be like, oh my gosh, we were stunned when we walked in and saw like the details.
That's the reaction you want. That's the reaction in your photos and things like that. When I love when I see guests walk in and they have their phone out and they're taking all the pictures. And I'm like, okay, hashtag nailed it.
Yes.
You know, things like that. But we've had them even do like a huge long king's table with just upgraded chairs at the king's table or something like that.
A beautifully patterned linen, like
that still dials it in, but it looks, you know, and people don't know that you didn't upgrade the other linens because, you know, it's cheaper this way.
Yeah, just make it look thoughtful and curated, like you meant
They know that they see, oh, wow, that's the head table. That's the sweetheart table or whatever it might be. So I love that. So you moved over from other rental companies, and I know we've been in touch for years and we've always used you. What makes Unearthed separate Unearthed from the other rental companies there? What makes you guys so amazing? Yeah. I mean, I know, but tell our viewers.
So at the end of the day, like I always say, like it starts at the top, like so separate from inventory, like it starts at the top, right? So the work ethic and the morals and just the integrity that like our staff all has, like we truly are a family. Like we are a smaller company. We all respect each other. We are all like rooting each other on in the background. We all want each other to like succeed and grow. And I just feel like kind of that culture that we've created has been unlike any company I've ever been a part of.
It's so true.
It's so true. And then it comes out like while you're meeting with clients, like you're happier to be there. Like you're wanting to help, you're willing to help. Like our setup guys are all incredible. Like they're willing to help. They go the extra mile. Like they care. Like they understand that like people are spending a lot of their hard-earned dollars to like have this service, and like we want to provide them the service that they have.
And it's your pictures too. Like it's all of our pictures. So, you know, it doesn't make us look good if everything looks like shit. Yeah. You know, if it looks like it's a hot mess and nothing's put together, it makes us look like we don't know what we're doing, you know, and couples who want those colors and they want to like, I'm like, well, let's make it we want it to look intentional. Like let's do an ombre of florals. Let's do an ombre of colors. So it doesn't look like we just picked whatever was left at the florist type of a thing. Right. And I say people are going to notice the details, but not the details of the extent of 4 or 5 votives on the table. You know what I mean? When it's lit, it's flickering. It's,
Sure.
you know, they're gonna notice if they're not dancing. What, and it to me, like, I know what makes you guys amazing. We work with rental companies. We've had multiple events where I use them. Not a crazy amount, but when I do. And I remember we had an event, it was actually both events were in Jupiter. One of them we had to use another rental company. It was like a month of planning. She really didn't book anything with me. She booked everything separately. But I had gone to her rental meeting ahead of time and we knew what napkin she picked. I took her pictures and like that. When I get to the wedding, which was a fun day because I had a rehearsal in Miami that morning and then I had to go to Jupiter for the wedding. And when I get to the wedding, all the napkins are wrong. Like it's not even remotely close to what was picked. And I called the rental company. I was like, hey, this is the wrong napkin. Like, what do we do to rectify this? It was so wrong. It was like very, very different color. And it wasn't even like, let's dim the lights. She won't notice. It was bad. And she goes, well, that's what she signed off on. I go, but you were there with me in that meeting. You know, like what she picked, it was wrong. She's like, yeah, it says a different name on it. I'm like, but the bride doesn't know the names of the linens or the napkins or whatever. This is like really wrong. So she's like, okay, well, let me see what I have in if I have the correct one in inventory. And then she said, well, you come get it. And I was like, what? I'm at a wedding right now. Like, this is not my mistake. Like, we got to get this fixed though. I can't leave the wedding to come get it. You know, we were hours away from ceremony and the rental company is not close to where we were. So finally she said, okay, well, I can have it sent up to you and it's going to cost this, this, and this. And I'm like, I'm so confused by why is this costing me and essentially the bride money when this was not our mistake? Well, you signed off on it. I didn't sign it. The bride signed off on it. I'm like, I feel like we're going in circles. Anyway, everything got fixed. They ended up getting it up to us. My team jumped in with the venue team and we ended up, you know, folding 200 napkins or whatever it was and getting everything. Like 2 of my team were doing ceremony. 2 of my team were folding napkins with the venue and we got it handled. It was fine, but it was a battle. And another wedding we did in Jupiter, different spot. We're setting out it was a backyard residence essentially. So we're setting out everything and everything was done through Unearthed Rentals. And I'm looking at everything and the catering company, they're like, we don't have any forks. And I was like, what? What do you mean we don't have forks? Do you remember this one?
No.
Oh yeah. This is fun. And I'm like, what do you mean we don't have forks? I was like, I did all the rentals. So I have everything here and I pull it out and I'm like, fuck, I didn't order forks. So I'm calling my husband saying, go to Walmart and get 150 forks and we'll figure that out later. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, because what do we do with the forks afterwards? I'm like, buy the forks. And then I'm calling Jade. It was a Saturday. I'm calling Jade. She's like, hey girl, what's up? I'm like, I forgot forks. Save my ass. And she's like, let me check in the back, see if anybody's back there. She comes back. She's like, I got him here. If you can have a girl pick him up. I'm like, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. Yeah. One of my girls ran over there, got him, no issue whatsoever. And it was done. And I'm like, that was totally my bad. And she'd have been like, sorry about your bad luck. But that's where I tell the clients and our couples all the time, it is so important to have your frienders in the industry,
100%.
the planner. We have relationships with your vendors outside of your wedding, outside of every event. Like we've gone to other events together and outside events and things like that. We see each other at lunch. Lunch. That was fun. We get to do that again. Lunch. And I mean, we have conversations and texts about other stuff and kids and, you know, things like that. So it's so important to have vendors who know each other. We're not referring them because we're friends in the industry. We're referring them because they come through us through and through every time.
At the end of the day, we all want each other to
we have the same goal to make this wedding look amazing.
Like we have the same client. It's the same goal. Like at the end of the day, like we will, problem solving is one of my favorite things to do. So we will solve your problem. We will figure it out.
And I find that, do you find that in your like personal life? Like my husband's like, oh my God, this happened. I'm like, okay, what's the plan? We got to do this. We got to do that. Like we can't crumble and cry.
That's what I'm currently trying to teach my kids.
Oh God, me too. We should totally talk after this. My girls are like, meltdown and crumble, something went wrong. And I'm like, no, we pull up our big girl panties and we get it done. Because
okay, so quick story. We were at Sloan softball practice the other night. Elle had one of those like phone charm things. I don't know what you call it. And you hold on to it, right? So she's in the bathroom, swinging it around, doing whatever she's doing. And all the beads drop and fall to the floor. And she's devastated. I'm in the car. So I didn't know this happened, right? So she comes walking back to the car and she's like, Mom, my charm thing fell. all the beads are everywhere in the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, well, did you pick them up? She's like, no, I didn't have anything to put them in. And I was like, we're going to play a game.
Yeah.
Find something to put all your beads in so we can restring it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't care, then I don't care.
Yeah.
But if you want to restring it, so she's like, okay. So she's like scouring my car for like anything that she could find. She opens up the glove compartment. There's like a plastic fork, you know, from Starbucks in there.
Bag in there.
And so she opens up the plastic bag, pulls out the fork, and walks her happy butt right back to the bathroom and starts putting all the beads
She wanted to say
in
ass.
there, right? And I'm like, good.
Yeah.
This is what we call like MacGyvering things.
Yep.
Like you got to fix it. You got to figure it out.
We got to
and
figure this out.
yeah.
100%. We always,
There's always a solution.
One of our
figure it out.
favorite reels was in South Carolina. The groomsman forgot a tie. He forgot his whole tie, and he doesn't match any of the others. And it was like a blush pink. And Sarah said, okay. And she cut up a whole napkin and made a tie
I love that.
and matched it. And
I love it.
They made a tie out of it. I've used a paper napkin as a pocket square. You can't tell in photos. I had one wedding. It was so funny. God, this was years ago. The groom forgot his pocket square, and he goes, oh my God, she's going to kill me. They were going to first look. I said, listen, I grabbed his brother's pocket square and I shoved it in his pocket to go do first look. He goes, well, what are we going to do for all the photos when she notices that he doesn't have a pocket square? I said, you're going to blame your brother and be like, damn, I can't believe he forgot his pocket square. I said, this is going to be months later when you get your gallery, so don't even worry about it then. And it was one of those funny things.
Like, we're cutting your pocket square in half, we're making two.
Yeah. I mean, my husband, we were going to the boat a few weeks ago, and we were meeting friends there, and we all had a plan to meet and be there at a certain time. And we're 10 minutes away from where the boat is, and he forgot the keys to the boat. And we're 45 minutes from where our boat is stayed. And I'm like, he goes, oh my God, the day's shot. We got to go home. Then we got to come back. The whole day's shot. Everybody's going to be late. Yeah. And I was like, no, call them, find out where they are. He called our friends. They were like literally right behind us on 95. I said, pull off at Southern. He pulled off. I said, load everything into his truck. You go to the boat. You uncover it. I'll go back home and get the keys. It saved so much time from all of us going back. Because when I got there, it was literally like, drop it and run because they had already loaded it, uncovered everything, and it was done and ready to go. And I'm just like, there's always got to be a plan in place.
Life skills.
Yeah. My daughter's like, oh my God, this is wrong at school. I'm like, what's our plan? We got to do something. And it's the same way with weddings. I feel like it trickles into your personal life too.
Absolutely.
You can't crumble and cry because it just doesn't fix anything. And I'm teaching my girls that because I'm like, hey, this is a business. You're going to work someday. You're going to take it over someday. What do we do? When you're working with a couple and they don't know their vision, they maybe don't have a planner, how do you work with them to bring that style to life? Do you guys have so many meetings, or is it kind of like we'll set up appointments? How does that work? What's that process?
Yeah, so typically if they're local, they'll come into the showroom, which is the best way. Like once you can see and touch and feel, like
it makes a big difference.
You'll be drawn to like certain things, you know? I first and foremost just kind of like listen to them, you know, just listen to like what their end goal is. Like we all know there's budgets, there's family dynamics, there's, you know, mom wants this, mother-in-law doesn't want this, you know, like we get it. We've all been there, like we understand.
Yeah.
So I just kind of try to listen and from there, once that initial, I guess, precedent is set, it just really, you touch, you feel, you look around. I try not to focus on the budget to a T when they're picking out, because I'd rather them see everything they like. And then you can kind of customize and be like, okay, well, this is going to give you the most bang for your buck, right? Like guests are going to notice this. Guests might not notice if you're just upgrading a white linen to another white linen, right? But they're going to notice when you're putting a colored glass on, or you're going to a gold flatware versus like the basic silver that they provide or something like that. So just listen, map it out, let them see everything so they know they have options.
And you know what you're talking about. It's like, oh, okay, I understand.
And
now.
I feel like from being in this industry and like different facets of this industry, like that has helped play a role in it too, you know, that like that experience like has led me to like be, okay, people are going to notice this. No one is going to notice this. Like you have this much money, great, put it here.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. That's where you don't need to spend, you know, $30 a chair, but maybe to chargers, the glasses and things like that. When you're starting out, trying to build their vision out and things like that, and they don't have a vision board, I like, you know, I mean, we all have the couples like, I like, you know, yellow and pink.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
like get a planner.
Yeah. Banana pink butter or banana yellow, butter yellow. So, when you're trying to dial in that vision, what do you start with? Like, do you start with specific pieces? Do you do a tablescape? Like, what does that process look like?
So typically we try to get as much information up front as possible. So when they come to their meetings, we're already a little bit educated, you know, like there are this many guests, it's at this venue, and these are the items that they're interested in, and if there's a color palette or not, right? So we try to get as much information upfront as possible. From there, like I always say, like saying no and knowing you don't like something is just as important as liking something.
Yeah.
So like you could walk in and like you said, let's use the yellow as an example, right? Like we know that there are a lot of different shades of yellow, ranging from like beautiful pastel yellows up to like a mustard yellow, right?
Ooh.
So yeah. So like we all know, like you're gonna walk in and you're gonna be like, nothing over here, right? Like it's the same as if you were shopping in a store. Like you're gonna be drawn to certain things. So I always say, like right off the bat, right? Like I'll know based off the venue, like is a linen included? Is an upgraded linen included? What color linen is included, right? And like what's our overall budget? Do we have it in the budget to do a linen, you know? So I typically will like to start with a linen and then build from there.
That makes sense.
But again, it's that knowledge of knowing what is provided
because if you do
already.
a beautiful linen, you may not need a pricey charger,
Correct.
you know, and things like that.
And are you doing a printed menu? Are you not doing a printed menu? You know what I mean?
All those
So like
details.
little things like that kind of help. Like I always tell people, like I personally think like a printed menu, like if you can't afford in your budget to do a napkin and a linen and a charger, print a menu yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's the easiest way to
Office
pull
Depot,
some
we
color
just printed
correct.
like 250 menus for like $100 at Office Depot.
Right. So like pull in a menu and like that can be your color on the tabletop, and get your linen and get your chair maybe instead, you know.
Even now, like the bows are big. So we'll do like a printed menu card with like a little black ribbon around it, which looks so
Love
pretty. What do you feel like? Now I tell couples when we don't have a budget. I bet you do.
Yeah.
You just don't know what it is.
Yeah, you don't know you have a budget until you see
the cost of everything.
It's the same thing like shopping for your wedding dress. Like you have a budget, right? But if you really want it, you're going to stretch your budget and shave it from somewhere else, you know? So if they have a planner, I always say like, obviously like rely heavily on your planner to keep you in track, like keep you in check with your budget. But if you don't have a planner, like come in, explore all the options. Like I always tell people, like deposit on the order on like what your wish list, right? Like you can always scale back, but at least it's reserved for you. True. Like if you end up, you know, having an unexpected cost for something else, know your priority list, and you can always like scale back if you need to, but like.
And it's kind of like building a house. When you're setting a budget for a wedding, you know, you have an overall budget, but you need to leave some reserve for the fun things that are not required, but wanted. You know, when you're building a house, you know, no, I don't need soft close cabinets, but I definitely want them when my husband's going to work at 3 a.m. Right. Same thing with maybe you don't need a gold, faucet, but you may want it.
It transitions to everything in life. Everybody is on budgets for all aspects of their lives, right? So like I feel like it correlates and it translates to it, right? So if you really want it, you're going to come up with the money for it.
Yeah. And if you have
that's just kind
a $50,000 budget max, tell all your vendors, including your planner, that you have a $45,000 budget or a $40,000 budget, and make sure that we have that reserve fund for the photo booth or for, the dance floor if we decide to do that or something like that. You guys with dance floors, you don't do any light up or electrical stuff like that, right?
No.
Yeah, that makes sense because that's usually controlled by the entertainment company anyway. Yeah, it makes sense. So when you're curating pieces and building, how do you guys, because you're adding new inventory every year. How do you guys build that inventory? Like, how do you?
I mean, obviously, like current trends, finding from the season before, if there was something we didn't have that people were wanting,
or you didn't use a lot. Is that how you do things? Like that too?
We're repurposing a bar right now that we didn't really use a lot in the capacity that it was designed in. So we stripped it down, or taking off like the ribbed on the front of it, and it's now a smooth finish, right? So like. We can repurpose, if it's not something that was like really being sold and we've noticed it, right? And then we know like the role that the rentals play in it obviously is crucial to the design, but it's a small piece of the whole puzzle. So kind of like leaning on the designers that we work with a lot too, like the production companies and the designers and that kind of stuff, to say like, hey, like, if you had this, we would rent it all the time. We're like, well, now we are going to have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because we deal with clients in different capacities, like from a corporate world and a social world, a lot of our corporate clients that I call them, like our caterers, rent completely different items than what designers will rent,
Sure.
right? So, you know, the Rennie and Reeds want the beautiful sofas and the fun linens and all of that. And like the caterers want, you know, beautiful, good china, nice glassware, kitchen equipment that is clean and runs well, you know, so you have to think of this vast difference
you're
we
looking
have to
at
have
everything,
within our
not
inventory.
just design, but like the back of the house stuff as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You guys have a huge job because it's counting and cleaning and repurposing and reusing, whereas we're kind of like, we picked it, make it pretty.
Yeah. And then a lot of times too, we're dealing with one event with multiple vendors. So for example, again, like the production or floral company could be renting the linens and the tabletop items from us, but then the caterer could be renting all their back of house tables and catering equipment or a 10 by 10 tent if they need to be covered because they're working in a backyard, you know? So
that's stressful.
The logistics of like that and stuff
and
like that.
A whole ass kitchen needs to be set up.
Yeah.
We've done that too, where we've had to have that in the backyard. And a lot of couples think that they're going to save money in a backyard wedding, but a lot of times you are not, because there's so much that has to go into it with tents, backup plans, rentals, a kitchen for an entire catering staff, labor, setup, breakdown, music, people flipping out because the neighbors, you know, you're playing music too long and things like that. What is one of your favorite memories of like a style that we pulled together? Oh, I know that one we talked about where she did juke rugs and benches was like really cool style.
Beautiful. And really then neat. I loved the one that we did a long time ago that we were talking about too at the mansion with like the metallic linen.
That was
I just
really
felt like
pretty.
because it was smaller and it was intimate.
Yeah.
She curated like such a beautiful design that
she
like the
really
linens
cool.
were all like just stunning and the tabletop was beautiful and then the candles were
and she didn't wear a white gown. It was an older couple. They had their grandchildren walk. It was their second wedding, and I had so much fun at that one. We had to pivot a lot because it was so windy. We had to move the entire wedding inside, but we pivoted and we made it work, and it was such a beautiful wedding. They were such a nice couple too.
They were so sweet.
And we loved working with them on everything too. That was a beautiful one.
We do have some good ones coming up too, though.
I know.
We have a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, we have one in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
That she's doing all the, oh my God, we just did that one at Flagler too.
Oh,
did you see it got published?
About that? Yes.
Published.
That was incredible.
Oh, that was
everything in that one was beautiful. That was like a vendor dream team.
Yes. We had so much fun at that wedding, and it was like,
it was stunning.
It was absolutely gorgeous. It just got published. The couple was amazing. I loved working with them, and we had so much fun because we have such a tight window to set up over there.
Yeah.
The dream team was
amazing.
Yep. The florals came together. I mean, it was like we walked in at 4:00 and it was like ants. Just spread everywhere.
All hands on
and
deck.
the good news is when you have that vendor team, like I can stand back and actually focus on my couple and planning rather than setting up and running around and babysitting, because the vendors killed it on that wedding.
I loved that. We used the reed bar outside on the water there.
It was gorgeous.
I will forever use those photos.
It was gorgeous. Those are my brochure photos now. I love it. So what designs and trends are you loving for 2025? Because we're coming into season now.
Yeah.
For Florida, our season's starting here in the next month or so.
We keep saying, buckle up.
No
buckle up.
Shit, buckle up.
We have a few new employees who haven't been through a season yet, and we were like, oh, you just wait when your eye is twitching.
We were just saying too, like we're obviously slower in the summertime, but we're also like, we don't feel slower because we've been doing so many vendor events and so many pop-ins and
connect,
whippas and jumping in and seeing all of our vendors and popping in the offices and stopping by and saying hi and just staying relevant. But
I
also,
love summer for that.
I love summer for that. But then we were saying like we usually leave at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon and love our summer, and now it's like we're still here 5-6 o'clock at night, and I'm like. And meetings, like we're trying to get all of our fall walkthroughs done now so that we're not crazy for fall for our spring. And it's been absolutely so busy in a different way. But yeah, this season's coming. What are the trends that are you loving for 2025? And where do you see it changing for 26?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Because now I'm going to be like, show me all the trends.
Right.
I wonder if you guys could do like a trend guide for planners.
Oh my gosh, I would love that.
Wouldn't that be fun for you guys to like, these are the trends for 2025. Yeah. These are the trends we feel coming into 2026. And this is what we have.
Absolutely.
And then we could use that. Like,
so I always like lean a lot towards like the fashion industry for trends, right? Because they're typically like a year ahead of the design world. You know, you see it on the runway and then you have to like wait for everybody to get the product and then sell it and then it comes out. So we're typically about like a year behind the fashion world, in my opinion. This season for 2025, like textures, curves, like shapes, I think are going to be everywhere. We just got like amazing, like ribbed glasses that I cannot wait to use.
That's very cool.
Textured linens. And then a lot of people are doing like the SERP tables, you know, to have like a little bit of a curve and doing a sofa with it for seating on one side and chairs on the other side, which is so fun. And then I think like going into 2026, it's going to probably continue. I mean, our season here again is like a little bit different, right? So like we're going to have like our 25 to 26 season, October to June.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now. And then, so then I feel like our new set of trends will still start in 2026, but will carry into 2027. So it's like, I think what we're going into now, we're going to see is like all those textures.
And I'm seeing boho go away a little bit, but I'm seeing more of a coastally boho vibe come in with the wickers and things like that, but not
the natural.
Like,
so it's very organic, very natural. So not boho where it looks like
pompous grass and everything like that.
It's more tailored and more structured. But
it's almost like a coastal chic I'm seeing a lot of right now with the, like you said, the maples and the lighter colors and things like that, which I love.
The rattan, the cane.
So, and I see people doing wanting less of a formal dinner and more of like lounge areas, which is a lot of fun. I love when people go outside the box because I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's roll. Let's do this.
And I feel like too, we used to notice people doing a lot of cocktail hour stuff, right? And I think the mentality there is shifted a little bit too to having those like later night stations that people are maybe going to utilize for more than just the hour of cocktails. So throwing a lounge in the ballroom if you have space, or, you know, like a little, you know, hangout area for people who are not necessarily like on the dance floor, but still want to be like hanging and, you know,
it totally makes sense. And, I love when people, like I have a couple now that I'm working with and they have a totally outside the box, ideas for their wedding. And I'm like, listen, you pick it, I stick it. I'm down for it as long as we can pull it together and as long as the venue is going to allow it and all these things. I love it.
Yeah.
What's your currently your like hottest rental item that couples should book far in advance? It's because
maple and white checker dance floor.
And then
like
also
literally,
like, how early should rentals be booked?
So, I mean, in a perfect world, 9 to 12 months out, I love for rentals. You guarantee your inventory. You know it's available for you. You know it's secured. Obviously, the closer you get, you might not be getting the item that you had your heart set on because it's not available anymore because somebody beat you to it.
Quick question on that. I don't mean to interrupt, but it just came to my head and I'm older, so I'll lose it if I don't say it.
Yeah.
If let's say a couple does book 9 to 12 months out and they book something that they love and then you get something similar and a new that comes in, will you let them know or do they have to say, hey, what's updated?
Yeah. So we always tell people like, you know, follow us on Instagram. We're always going to post a new inventory on Instagram and you'll see something there.
I love it.
You know, at that 6 month mark, if you want to revisit our website, take a scroll through, see if there's anything else that pops out. Like if you don't want to come in, we're happy to throw it down on a table for you, design it back up and show you the options, you know? For the most part though, like I feel like, and I'm sure you would say this as well to educate the client, like find your style and design and stick with it. You know, I know I'm the pot calling the kettle black because I changed literally all the colors of my wedding probably a month before. And,
that's amazing.
You know, but I feel like book it 9 to 12 months in advance, at least for on the social end, because you are going to have those last minute people that are coming in too. Like we just booked last week 3 weddings for next month, like full decor. So like
and overbook.
Linens, chargers.
Like if you think you're going to be 100 guests, book for 150.
Always.
Because you'll have the inventory and then also we can let it go as we get closer.
Yes, you can release them as you get closer. I always tell people, always budget on the high end and always reserve on the high end because you can always drop down as we get closer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I tell clients too, when they're starting their vision, you know, let's pin everything you see, pin it on Pinterest, pin. You'll start gravitating towards a certain look.
Absolutely.
Or you'll look back at it and go, oh wait, I really like these. But you'll see yourself like kind of the way your brain works will go towards a certain look.
And I feel like as a planner, that's a huge asset too, because sometimes people don't even notice their own trends within their Pinterest board. Yeah. So when you look at your Pinterest board, you can say like this same charger plate has been used in 7 out of your 20 pins. Like, I think that that's something that like we should look into because it's consistent here.
Exactly. And I think that it's important that's where we try to pull their Pinterest board and their vision. And then we also create a full vision board. So I think when we're working with rentals and decor and things like that, it's super important. Even linens and chargers and glassware ideas are on there.
Absolutely.
And we send that, hey, to you guys and say, hey, this is what we're looking at. This is her Pinterest board. And not only that, this is her vision board. So you can say, okay, I have these or I don't have
Correct.
these.
We just did that.
This is where,
You and I just emailed
similar.
about that. And I feel like you get to know our inventory as well too, you know, so that way, you know, you're like, hey, Carla, I forget she wanted something with a black charger. And I was like, okay, here are the options that we have. Like, see what she thinks, if like she likes any of these. Like we can also like wrap it with a black napkin too, you know.
Yes, I love that too. I think it adds dimension too. When you have a white linen, black, white, like let's add those, the layers. So it adds dimension. What's the most underrated piece you wish couples would book more?
Statement bars.
Oh,
statement bars, hands down.
So true.
Leave money in your budget for a statement bar.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
I know lighting does wonders and all of that stuff, but a statement bar that your guests are walking up to all night, like.
We did one at Admiral's Cove not too long ago, and their whole theme was Aperol spritzes.
Fun.
So the whole front of their bar was wrapped with like cute orange paper and things like that, and oranges and things like that. And it was such a, like, for cocktail napkins, this, that, everything had that little vibe to it. We just did was it a baby shower? One of our teams did. One of our other locations did a baby shower, and the whole theme was lemons and oranges, and it was, she found her main squeeze. Or a bridal shower. I was like, oh my God, cute. I love it. Like, I would have so much fun with this stuff.
I love that. And a lot of our statement bars too, you can customize, right? So like our reed bar that we used at Flagler, it had the cane panels in it for that.
Love that.
But we just had somebody, actually it was for Nike. They took foam core, like we gave them the dimensions, and they had foam core printed to customize to go with the patterns that they were using, and it looked like the bar was customly built for them.
It looks so personalized. What do you think one of the biggest mistakes are that, you know, people do when booking rentals? What do you think the biggest?
Don't think about the dollars. I feel like they just
hard to do that, but I agree.
Like when they're putting something down, like how much is this or how much more is this than this? Like when you're thinking about each individual item's price, it might seem overwhelming, but if you have 100 people at your wedding and it's a difference of $1 and $1.50, you're talking $50. Like, come on, get what you want for $50. Like, you know, you could just not go out to dinner one night. You know what I mean? Like,
this is true.
So I feel like stop focusing on the individual price
of
the items.
Even when you're working with a budget, this is what we talked about earlier. Like you can pick and, you know, you're going to have lower priced items that you can add that to make an impact. Yeah. And I agree. I mean, when I'm going shopping, if I look at every price tag, I have no business in there shopping at all. So, you know, pick what you want, do your dream wish list, and then, you know, as you're picking it and as you're taking your pictures, what is a non-negotiable and what's negotiable, and remove the negotiables.
You know, think about just like the shade of blue, for example, you know, when you're looking at a napkin and, you know, this napkin is $1.50 and this napkin is $2.50. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's $1 more for the napkin. Like when you're thinking about it, then at the end of the day, it's like $100 for the napkin that you want.
Budget.
Like, so don't focus on the individual numbers.
Yeah, I agree with that. What advice do you have for couples curating a cohesive look, but not breaking the bank either? I think we kind of already chatted a little bit about this too.
We did, and I feel like, again, lean on your planner if you have one. If you're lucky enough to have a planner, lean on them, because they will know the designers that are within your budget, the rental companies that are within your budget, right? And you get all these people on the same team who work together on, you know, every weekend. It's about that team, right? And those relationships that they have. So it's like, I know if so-and-so, you know, for example, like if you're using a caterer who I work with regularly, I'm gonna say, well, I know so-and-so prefers these glasses. So like, kind of like go this way, right? You know,
knowing your people.
Yeah, knowing your people and just hiring that
and it's
team
true.
that you know.
I mean, I have same thing with florists. I have florists with, you know, that have a $50,000 or $75,000 minimum. Yeah. If you're on a budget, that's not the florist I'm wasting my time sending you to, and I'm not wasting their time, your time, anybody's time. We're going to send you to the right people who can do it. So if you could, this is where it gets fun. If you could design your dream wedding, your dream event with zero limits to budget or anything, what are we doing?
Okay, so I was so funny because I was talking with my kids about this last night, and at the end of it, I was like, I wouldn't design anything. I'd go on vacation. Yeah. I was like, I'm done designing. Put me on a beach somewhere. No, I mean, I love personalization and I love intimacy. So I feel like I love like custom menus that say your name at the top, and I love beautiful linens, and I love, you know, thoughtful drinks. So like fun drink signs and that kind of thing. So, I mean, we live in Florida, so I have to be realistic about like what I'm doing, but backyard, on the water, tented, right? I mean, good music.
Not in June.
Yeah,
not in
June.
July. Like January.
No, I always say like, so my husband and I will be married 15 years in November.
We're hitting 18 this year. I know.
But we're still 25. Like,
obviously.
I mean, I don't even know how it's possible.
A lot of Botox.
But so I'm like, I want to I don't want to do a vow renewal. It's like not my thing, but I'm like, I want to have like a really nice dinner party. And I feel like as I've gotten to the age that I'm at, like to me, I want to have the people I love in my backyard. And luckily I work for a rental company.
And I know a good planner.
And just make it that intimate, personalized.
That's so fun. What is the wildest, I have one for you too. What's the most unique request you've ever had in rentals?
So we were talking about this too. And in rentals, we don't really get a ton of like unique requests. Like we have a website, people pretty much, nowadays people do the research before they call us, but it's like, you gotta love the people who are like, oh, well, yours is too expensive. So like, if I provide that, will you set it up with your stuff? No, we're not touching your DIY arch that like your dad made. I love that for you, but like, no, we're not gonna.
Yeah, that's true. We've had that before. And I, in the very beginning when I was young, dumb, and didn't know what I was doing, I was like, absolutely, we can put together a whole ass chuppah. It's fine. I'm like telling my husband, get your drill. He's like, what am I doing? And I'm like, you got this. You can do anything. You can pull a motor out of a car. You can put together a chuppah. You got this. And it was great. He put it together. Everything was fine. We got everything set up. And then at the end of it, he was like, well, who's taking it down? And what are we doing at the end of the night type of a thing? And that kind of fell on the couple. And he was like, the guy was like, well, I thought you were taking, well, why am I taking it down? Not my chuppah. Things like that. But we had one, I think one of my craziest stories, it was one of those stories where I probably shouldn't even say this. It was a surprise proposal on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Fun. And he was coming in out of town. And we've done this before where it's, they're on vacation. They need everything set up totally fine. He said her favorite color was green and she loves Jell-O. So he wanted a baby pool.
No.
Like a plastic baby pool full of green Jell-O.
Hard no.
With the marry me sign. And can I do this? Yeah, I can do this. Do I want to? Fuck no, I don't want to.
Don't tag me. I wasn't here.
I'm thinking to myself, like, yes, a proposal, I can do this, but who's walking down the beach with this big ass plastic baby pool and not like being noticed? Secondly, how much Jell-O do we need?
No.
Who's making the Jell-O? And who's cleaning up the Jell-O afterwards? It was like, I'm like, so sorry, I'm actually booked that day.
Yeah, right.
So sorry.
Unless there's tequila in the Jell-O, we're out.
Yeah, like, I mean, I guess I could have made some lemonade out of lemons on that one, but I'm like, my husband's like, wait, what? And I was like, it's Jell-O, lots of green Jell-O. And he was like, I don't know what happened. I was booked that day. I don't care what day it was. I was booked that day. Any personal stories that take the cake before we close out?
Okay, so I do have one fun one, but it's not like it's just like kind of a funny thing for me. So I don't even know how many years ago when I started in this industry.
How did you get into this industry, by the way? That was like one of our first questions. I totally forgot.
No, it's fine. I was an admin for a production company. And so I started like writing proposals for them and like going on meetings and just like kind of learning things. It was like probably the best stepping stone that I could have ever taken in this industry. I learned so much behind the scenes. Yeah. So now like logistic wise, like it just makes
for sure
more knowledge, right? So, but yeah, so back in the day we were doing a setup at Michael Jordan's house. Nicest people
that's
ever.
So cool.
Yeah, nicest people
so
ever,
cool.
right?
I know the girl who set up at Michael Jordan's house.
Right?
I'm friends with her.
And so Sloan, my youngest, was a baby, and so I was still pumping. And so his wife who also had young kids, and she was like, I totally get it. Just let me know whenever you're ready, and like I'll have, some staff take you to somewhere so you have like air conditioning and you can,
awesome.
Pump in private. And I'm like, amazing. So I'm like, okay, it's time. So they walk me in. I have booties on my shoes. I've got my pump with me, and I go and I sit down, I hook up, I start to pump, and I like look up and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the court of the Chicago Bulls, like on the ceiling. It was the whole basketball court. And then I'm looking around and there's like trophies and jerseys like hanging all around me. I'm like, I am pumping.
And you're sitting here with your pumps.
I'm pumping. And then you're like, oh, and there's a security camera and another security camera. And I'm like, oh my God, trying to turn to the corner, like, okay. And then after I left, I told my husband, I'm like, everybody was so friendly. After. And he's like, yeah, of course, because you're like full frontal them all. And I'm like, okay.
Dude, I tell you what, that's a good story. You're like, it's not that crazy. No, if I got my boobs out at Michael Jordan's, that's a damn story right there.
Right? I know.
Amazing.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Good story to
I
tell.
would totally go back and
Pumping
be like,
Chronicles. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming out and joining us. I'm so glad you got to see our little, office space and our little home. Tell us where our clients can find Unearthed Rentals.
Okay, so our website is unearthedrentals.com, or you can just call me or go on our Instagram page. You'll find us.
Yeah. Call Carla. She's got you covered for your wedding, or call your planner, which is hopefully me, and we got you covered with Carla. Thank you all for joining us. Follow us on This Takes the Cake on Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as Stunning and Brilliant Events. We'll see you next time.